Now playing the Hook and Bridge podcast.
I fucking love Kesha. I'm telling you, I'm the worst person to have a podcast. I can barely speak.
Oh my god, I love doing this!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hook and Bridge podcast. I am your host, Harley, joined by my co-host, Taylor,
Hello.
and our executive producer, my lovely wife, Lindsay. Today, we have an amazing band on the show. You may know them from their song, The Luck Got You, or The Luck You Got. Sorry. Oh my God, I am so sorry.
Yikes.
I can't read to save my life. The Luck You Got from the hit show Shameless. And also, Josh, you have your own credit as well here, which we'll get into. Josh, you wrote the novel Bird Box, right? So we'll talk about that here in a moment as well.
Sweet.
But everybody, please welcome the High Strung. How are you guys?
Great.
Thrilled.
Happy to be here. Feeling lucky that we got to be here.
So,
I
full disclosure, I listened to the song. I have never seen an episode of Shameless in my life.
it's so good.
Oh, really? You have
Yeah.
watched it? I've never seen the show.
It's really
That's
good.
the show Megan and Anjali love.
Really?
My cousin and my
Yeah.
niece love the show.
Because it's on Showtime, and that's like the only thing that we don't have. We have
Yeah.
HBO, we have Netflix, Hulu, but we don't have Showtime.
Yeah.
Now I got it on Netflix.
I was gonna
No,
say,
is
I
it
think
on
they have
Netflix?
a Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was crazy. Once they went on Netflix, the spike in listening to the song on Spotify went through the roof, as well as people using it for TikTok and talks and whatnot. And it was crazy. So just a whole new audience. It was amazing to watch the transfer of medium introduce a whole new audience and explode and spike, which was great.
right. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I didn't know that it was on Netflix. I'm gonna check out
Yeah.
the show. I've never seen the show. I've heard about it a million times, but I've never.
Really
It
good.
stresses me out. It's just, it's a rough one. It really is. People love it. My father would call me every episode. I'm like, thanks for watching. I need you to do it. Appreciate it. I can't keep up with you. I'm not going to tell you what happened on next episode.
That's hilarious. So I have a lot of things that I want to ask all of you, but I gotta start this show off with asking Josh. I had no idea that you had written Bird Box. So in case you guys don't know, the movie Bird Box was a show or a movie on Netflix, adapted to TV from your novel. Can you tell me a little bit about like how that transpired, what that process was like for you as a writer to see your art come to life on the big screen? Not to mention played by what was the lady that played
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra
I mean,
Bullock.
talk about
Yeah.
a huge name, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not just saying this because the band is present. It is a lot like being in the band in the way that I'm very used to writing a song, and I don't tell the boys what to play, right? We don't tell each other really what to do. So I'm very used to writing the song, and then the boys make the music. And with Bird Box, it was like I wrote the book, and Netflix and Sandra Bullock made the music. So it was I was like primed for not caring too much about like where it went or how it went, just glad that it was going at all.
Mhm.
There was no side of me that was like, oh, they did this differently or this. It was more like just like grateful it was happening, and like honestly feel that way every time I make an album. The same thing. Like, could this song have gone that way? Yeah, it could have gone this way or that way, but hey man, we got a version, let's roll.
Right.
I like that. I like that
I mean,
mindset.
So let's talk a little bit about this new album. First off, I love the new album.
Thank you.
The first thing I want to say is a disclaimer to our audience is I would describe this album as a rich, fun album, a love letter to the sounds of the 60s. Upon listening to the album, there are a lot of key elements in there and inspirations pulled from the Beatles, from Floyd, from the Beach Boys. So my first question for you guys is, I'd love to hear each of your inspirations and what each of you brought to the table on this record.
I'll I'll jump in, right?
That's
I'll jump in and kick it
That's a
off.
long conversation.
Well, Derek, you got something you want? Well, I'll take over here. So
You go. You guys start.
all right, so I'll take in, right? And what was great was had the pleasure of watching it grow from ideas that were shared, little snippets of recordings and whatnot that Mark and Josh had shared, and Chad will get into sort of pieces that we found in the vault. But those kind of shaped it and inspired it. And what was cool from my perspective is I came in, planned on playing the acoustic guitar on it, and we had started to discuss shaping the songs. By the time I arrived in town, they had all shaped it to a degree into what their versions were. And so really seeing this thing grow from an idea, which, throughout this conversation, we'll hear where it just started and left and went completely, a full 180. But what I brought to it was really listening and trying so much to nurture, also coming in from out of town, rekindling to record again with everybody, was being able to listen to what everybody was doing, approaching that, shaping that, and then making sure that I could jump in and play what my instrument was. So it was a real cool idea of sort of building it while you're starting to fly the plane, which was really cool. Derek.
Yeah.
What
So
are your thoughts?
yeah. So we had booked our session, and I felt like we were kind of under the gun to get the songs fleshed out, kind of in a hurry. In a way, I felt a lot of pressure. Josh and Mark had the songs written, not exactly how they ended up, but they were written, and we started practicing. And a lot of the times we could only practice kind of late at night. We practiced without the whole band a lot of the times, just because of our schedules were very difficult at that time. And we just started playing at Josh's, which was also new to us at the time, because we were used to playing where we usually rehearse. Steven's basement at that time. Yeah. So then we're doing these like late night kind of figure out what the hell we're doing. Those guys teaching me not the part, but the song, because it's like we can relax if I know the song. Because, if I know the song and I can play the song all the way through, everything else can kind of be overdubbed, or like done at a different time or done at a different location. So it's the pressure's on for me to know the songs well enough to play them well. Chad, we're drinking the same beer, by the way.
This is Michigan beer.
Yeah.
Short.
It's like
it's the only one I like of theirs, because it's the only one like shitty enough.
Yeah. It's just shitty enough. It's not too shitty. You can drink a lot of them.
Yeah, I like to have beer. I like to be able to drink 100 of them.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to drink an IPA where I can only have like one, and then I'm really drunk already.
Right. Yeah.
It looks like a Blue Moon knockoff.
I would.
It's nothing like Blue Moon.
Say it's a Blue Moon.
Nothing
it's not
like
Blue
it.
Moon.
Yeah.
But it's very recognizable, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Okay, so anyway, we were under the gun. We have to make the song. So we decided we're playing at like 10, 11 at night. Josh has neighbors. We have, I'm using hot rods, which are kind of like not real drumsticks. Josh is playing the piano, and then whoever else is around that could also be there to learn the songs. And then we realized that we liked the sound of what we were doing on Josh's set, which was like, the heads have never been changed. It's kind of like a ramshackle drum set, I guess just something to play. But then like we're playing and I'm like, man, this sounds good. It sounds good with these kind of sticks, and it sounds good with piano, and it sounds good in this house, in this room. So just by the nature of those kind of rehearsals, we decide that's how the sound of the record kind of came to be, and we're like, well, this is a living room record, which is like kind of like if you ever heard Carole King talk about Tapestry. She talks about that as like a living room record. This is a living room record. It's like your friends are over, you're making music in the living room, and we're like, hey, these songs lends itself to that, and that is what is happening, and that is what we're making happen.
Right.
And not to interrupt. Oh, I guess I'm not interrupting.
No, yeah, I stopped.
But yeah, you can hear the room sound and the sounds from the room on a couple of different songs. Like there's rain that begins one song that you can hear. It was really raining out the window.
Boring.
Yeah, and you can hear the dogs on one in the bridge of one song. So it's actually kind of like stitched into the album, the setting.
Yeah, those are not added later. They were just like,
oh no,
that was just on it. That was just in the room, in the house.
Well, and it builds to that authenticity, right? It builds to like the key 2 tracks that really stuck out to me were Different Animals and Telescope. Those were the songs that I really stuck to. And the thing that I loved about Telescope was the tonalities that you guys used on the piano and the heavy choruses on the guitar, right? That heavy chorus pedal on the guitar. It really pushed it into like this circus-esque feel. And then once I heard that in Telescope, I re-listened to the rest of the album and pinpointed spots throughout the rest of the album where you guys kind of took those same elements and kind of made it into a whole piece, a whole story-driven piece. And that circusy element and that like I gotta lend it to Josh, I would assume, from like the horror aspect, right? It's that like circusy, strange, freaky aspect to the songs that I would assume that you probably lend a lot to that.
One of my favorite things about, first of all, that's really cool how you're describing how you heard all this. One thing that I do love about this album is I do think that my songs sound a little more theatrical and Mark's sound more like folky. And I like that there's like a demarcation there. That's fun to me to like hear like when you have a band with multiple songwriters, I think it's fun to hear like because we're into mostly the same stuff.
Right.
But it comes out differently. And I think it's cool to hear that. And this album feels more like that than most, despite the fact that this album's obviously of a piece as you're describing. Yeah, I definitely, I want the next album to even lean more into what you're talking about right now. That more, whether it's saloony or circusy or carnival or whatever it might be. Another element of that real fast would be the producer, Zach. Well, Berko and Zach Ships produced it together, really. And Zach, he added all the strings. And sometimes he doubled like fake strings or faux strings with live strings, just because you didn't know what live strings look like. and he plays a major role in that, adding like weird instrumentation in the background. And I remember a conversation early on where he was like, hey, what do you think about this for this? Or like, what if I was thinking about this instrument? And I was like, man, you have the green light, like add whatever, try anything, And he really did try like a gazillion things. So Zach definitely adds to all that as well. I think the end of, and this is what I mean by, the song's actually not that different, but Pygmy Owl, which Mark is a Mark song and Mark sings, that one has some of that circusy abstract element too, especially on the outro. So it's definitely throughout it all. I think Steven's guitar plays a major role in that too, because it's like all of his parts are super emotional, and like all of Palmer's riffs are like color moments, like emotional moments throughout the record.
Mm-hmm. Now, and Mark, on the Pygmy Owl, what an interesting line for the chorus. Can you tell me a little bit about what exactly does that mean? Is there a meaning to it?
Well, it was written at the beginning of right around the beginning of the pandemic, and I also had my first child right then in February, and so it has that kind of influencing that song. And I mean, it's kind of really about the baby and my relationship with her, my budding relationship with her. And so, if she's the northern pygmy owl, and sort of then the singer is the observer and the protector and the sort of the guy out in the wilderness. And so that pretty much is the context for it.
Now, the piano, and I do apologize. I don't know everyone's roles in the band as much as I was able to grasp the music. I wasn't able to really determine who does what. Who is the primary piano player for the band?
I am.
Okay. So, the piano portion of it, was that a live piano? Was that like a full?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
Did you
and there's a
do, like,
song on that album that I'm so proud of, because Derek, I think Chad too. Derek, Chad, and I got all in one. So Lonely is all one take.
Yes.
There's like Telescope, I had to overdub like a walk down on the piano part that I flubbed, and Address Unknown, I had to overdub the riff at the beginning and stuff like that. But So Lonely was all one take, and I'm like, every time I hear it, I'm like, I don't think we have another thing quite. We have other one takes, but I don't think we have one quite like that. That is mid tempo and like the piano's alone for a minute, and then Derek and Chad come in here, and they got to come in well. So to have done that right all the way through is like, I just get excited about that.
Now, for the tuning on the piano, is it purposely like slightly off, or is that like a mic choice?
We have a dude that comes out regularly.
Screw you, Harley.
Golden ears or something? What? The virtuoso?
Well, I will say that whatever it is, I love it. Because my original thinking for this album, and these guys all know this, was I was hoping to do some sort of like, we're playing in a saloon kind of thing. And I think there is a hair of that on the piano, and everyone knows the saloon piano's out of tune. And
that was it for me, right? So specifically Different Animals is when I listened to it, it really drove like this like Billy Joel Piano Man, right? And how that like shitty piano is in the corner, but it just sounded like just a hair. It almost sounded purposeful. That's why I asked, because
I think the one that
just a hair off.
I think the song that most fits that is Basement Lear. It's on side two. Well, side two. It's later in the album. Mark sings it. And that piano was at Zach's studio, also a live piano. And that one, I remember sitting down and, this one's a little, but I was like, who cares? This is awesome. And I can hear it at the end, the piano is alone, and I can hear that just a freaking little bit. But I love that.
I do. I love it. I think it really adds to the element of the album, right?
Yeah.
Now, so who is the guitar player in the band?
Steven.
Yeah.
So
right.
What was your inspiration for the guitar piece in this band, or in this album?
Yeah, I don't think there was any kind of conscious inspiration per se, as far as influences and all of that. The thing that was different for me on this record is that it was the first time I had ever played a lap steel on a record, or at all, really. And so that's on the album over a few songs. So that was interesting, and how that kind of would intertwine with other guitar lines. I like the sound of that. So, but aside from that, not really any kind of conscious influence, really. Just doing what felt right for the song.
Right. Now, as far as like your added in effects, like I had mentioned earlier, that heavy chorus tone, was that a conscious decision, or is that just a staple in your board?
Yeah, that was, I know we reamped the guitar stuff that I did. A little bit of that was a little disjointed from when I was actually playing it. and overdubbing. And I think that particular song might have been reamped by Zach. So yeah, I think that's how we got that sound.
Awesome. So Taylor, I want to pass the torch over to you. I know you have a few
Oh.
questions, and then we'll
I
keep
do.
going.
Well, some of them have already gotten answered. You see,
That's all right.
this is the issue with me going so late. All right. So I want to bring it back to Shameless, because when I found out that you guys did the opening of Shameless, like, that's just crazy to me. So how did that happen? Like, how did you go about? Did you just write the song and then someone was like, I love this for our show? Or did someone reach out to you and ask for you to write the opening of the show?
That's a great question. We work with a lady who shops our songs to like film and TV, and she seemed to like that song from like the word go. And her name's Mara, and she's now with Superior Music. At the time, it was Bug Music. Anyway, she liked that song from the word go, and she would tell us, like, I'm going to find a home for this song and that kind of thing. And I don't remember exactly how many years it was, but it was a minute before she called to tell us that she actually did find a home for it. So she was actively shopping that song when scenarios, when scenarios called for it to her, Yeah.
That's so cool.
But that is interesting. I like the idea in a Brill building like songwriter way to actually be like tasked with writing the theme song.
Yeah.
That would be kind of awesome. But I also like the idea of someone just hearing it randomly and reaching out, any of those scenarios. But that's how this way went. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed when listening to your guys' music that I feel like a lot of the songs are perfect to put into a scene of a movie. Like, you know, when it cuts to a scene and then it's just music going, every time I listen to a song, I was like, that would be great in just a movie scene.
I agree.
I love it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, especially on this album. There's so many moments where it's just like, oh, that would land the plane, or that's just a perfect moment to bring emotion to it. So you're right. So Mary, if you're listening to again on this, or whomever, it's just waiting. This album's the right one.
It really is. It's just waiting. It's so good.
Well, we recognize how amazing it is to have a song in a show, right? There's very few that get to tell that story, and it's really kind of amazing. It's just incredible, and so we don't take that for granted.
That's so cool.
Yeah, let's go for another.
So sorry to cut you off for a second, Taylor, but it just popped into my head and I don't want to lose it. Just to bounce back to this Bird Box thing real quick. Did you by chance get to like influence it all and say like, hey, I also am in a band and they do great music?
I did bring that up, but they got Trent Reznor.
I mean, come on.
Soundtrack, and they told me that when I went on set, and I had brought us up before at some point, like in the beginning stages of all of it. Like, we could try that, I actually feel like now that I love what he did, but I feel like Chad and I could have done that. But I do love what he did though. But they told me when I was on set, they're like, keep this under your hat. Trent Reznor's doing the soundtrack. And I was like, oh, what the? That's amazing.
I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy, man.
Really
cool. I mean, cool. Talk about a resume, like to be able to walk around and be like, Trent Reznor did the music for my movie. Like,
especially because we were like exactly like of age when Pretty Hate Machine came out and stuff, and also Pretty Hate Machine plays a major role in one of my newer books too. But
nice. All right, sorry to cut you off there, Taylor.
No, actually, that was
I just wanted to let everybody know, by the way, we can say whatever we want here, so sorry if anybody doesn't like the F word. I don't think you guys have a problem with it based on the album, but just wanted to let you know you can say, I know.
The amount of pushback from leave this shit behind to leave this shit behind, which was
Mark swears a lot.
Which was so talk, you've got to change. So think about that. Gonna leave this shit behind. Can you tell what I'm saying or not? But we had to make a different version for radio. And is it, I can't tell you. I still think they're screwing with me. I can hear it. They put a P in there. Can I hear it because they told me that they put a P in there? Are they are they ducking with me? You know,
Right, right.
and all of that. But and then it comes to this whole idea of thanks, Chad. And then it comes to this whole idea of well, screw it, we shouldn't just do it, right? What do you change? What do you not change? What fucking war are we fighting now?
Yeah,
It's going
right.
to get to more people if you hear it. If that's the difference, just do it, right?
What
And
if, your
so,
name, what if your name was Irving or Cindy, man, Derek?
Right. That's the word, man.
good.
I told my daughter asked me on the original version if it was ship or shit. And I was like, it's ship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she couldn't tell, you know.
Why not then? She didn't.
But
What?
she doesn't believe me because she still asked. She's waiting for me to crack, you know. She's waiting for me to crack.
You're in too deep now. You can't crack.
Well, that's the whole thing, right?
So we all have to start believing.
Right. It's who needs to hear whatever they need to hear at the moment.
Yeah.
And what's the difference? Unless you're trying to build trust with your daughter, then you're fucked.
Sure, there's other ways I'll flounder that situation.
that shit has left. I mean, shit sailed.
That shit has sailed.
That shit has sailed.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Go ahead, Taylor. Sorry to
No,
steal the
no,
spotlight
you're
there from me.
no, you're good.
You know
I-
what's cool?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. You're finding your next question. I'm going to take over.
She
you're
usually
good.
does that to her. She's used to it.
Okay.
Time. I'm used to it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. You're welcome. And so what was kind of cool was in hearing the conversation as everyone was talking about the album, is how many different layers something can go where you start off with something and then you hand it to somebody else and then they do what they do with it and you have to trust and then how it really just it's amazing how it can turn left or right or kind of navigate in a different direction so dramatically, like for instance Palmer layering his guitar on top, which was after the initial basic recording, and you fall in love with something in a particular way, and then somebody comes in and they add their texture to it, and you're like, holy shit. And it's an entirely different album to me at that point. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, now what is this thing that's alive, that you've loved, that you've lived with, bigger than you could have ever imagined, more emotional. And then you hand it back where Zach Ships, funny enough, the guy who produced this. Now I'm not going to say anything. To me, Palmer's guitars was the most dramatic shift. And then you've got Zach taking this thing and then adding all this texture and layers and literally cello and everything on top of it. And now we have a whole new feeling when you listen to it. And what was interesting was in making all of that, I hadn't really thought about it, of how there were so many different stages and each stage was just one little piece, but not a little piece, can change it so much that it's an entirely different dish. You're serving it in an entirely different atmosphere, entirely different vibe, entirely different mood and lighting. And it's really cool to be a part of that process where you're participating. I'm a co-producer on this thing, and this thing gets turned back to me with my hands not on it. And I'm like, son of a bitch, this thing just exploded to a whole new level. And that's really kind of cool in that process. And even now, it's just interesting. I hadn't really thought how much it was about the stages of it and starting from a saloon album. And we talked about that internally before, but just how somebody can add something when you're not there and it can affect you so much. And one other point, Taylor, while I know you're chomping at the bit. Oh, yeah,
you're okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
and so is is just this idea that was cool was not listening to something and choosing what's right or wrong, feeling something at that point and saying, well, that just feels right. Don't fuck with it. It's right. It's there. We don't need to get heady about it. It's just right. And this album was instrumental in how I transferred that over into life in other areas where it's just kind of like, nope, that's right. Feels right. Mm-hmm. Done. And so it was kind of incredible. That experience.
Man, that actually, Jason, I have to thank you because that is the perfect segue into what my next question was. So that was needed. So just like how your song transforms and grows from start to finish, it's a completely different product when you're done. Where in your guys's journey of being a band do you feel you've had the most growth and transformation?
Wow.
That is a good question.
Wow. No one has ever asked me that about the band or the books, and I love that question. Chad, what do you think about that? I bet Chad's gonna give a great answer right here.
Pass
I
on the
feel
answer.
like there's been different eras,
That's right.
in the band. Sorry, I took a microdose earlier, and it's stronger than
You're fine.
it's
Hell
a
yeah,
little
man. This show is a
stronger
fucking
than
party.
a little stronger than
It's
I
a real Royal Tenenbaums moment.
anticipated it to be.
Wow.
So I've been like kind of radiating this whole time. Anyway, but I do think that there have been different like eras in the group, and so like obviously in each era, it's been a growing. It's been like a growing period. When we first started, we were 5-piece band. It was this band without Palmer. And then Berko left the group, and then Mark left the group, and then Mark joined the band. Or no, then Palmer joined the band. Then Mark joined back in, and then Berko came to record with us. So it's been a very. But I feel like all of those things have been monumental, like forward motion. None of that felt like it was dipping down. It like all has felt like building upward. What was the question again? Did that answer it? I don't know.
Yeah, that was a great answer.
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Real fast. I would say like sonically, I guess the two biggest shifts to me would be right after we lived in New York for a minute, right after our New York days, then making our first like proper studio album. That was a major shift. And then from the last studio album we made to this one was probably a gigantic shift also. And oddly enough, this newest one kind of harkens back to what we were doing in New York a lot. Not even that odd actually, because Berko is involved again. But those were two pretty big shifts. There's been a lot like during Get the Guest doesn't sound like Max Bravo to me, and Dragon Dicks is a totally different world, but those two would be pretty big shifts. And I think it's worth answering that because one was way early on and one is the most recent, and that's kind of fun to think about.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you go back and listen to Soap, to me, that's the most similar. Now, sonically, we're on an 8-track, but to me, that's the most similar in texture to
sensibilities and stuff. Yeah,
to what we're doing now, and the fact of the layer and the care, and we obviously didn't have Palmer ripping it up on that, but
Yeah.
those are almost sister albums in a little bit of a way.
Mhm.
And what 22 years apart or whatnot.
Wow, that's crazy.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah,
They do
that's
have
what's
a lot
cool,
in
right?
common.
What was that there?
They do have a lot in common, The new record and one of the EPs from 2000 or whatever.
Mhm.
2001. I don't know.
Awesome.
In the sound.
So
And that one couldn't have been more different than the Christmas album in 2001.
Right.
Have a listen.
yeah,
Have a listen. It's
Here
there.
comes the chair.
It's there.
she loves her Christmas music.
Christmas music.
Oh yeah, there's a whole Christmas album.
It's great. We 5 Jews from Brooklyn went living in there, went and we all wrote our own songs, and then we engaged the neighborhood, different artists and friends and whatnot, to come into where we were living in the loft. Shantytown, as it was dubbed, Shantytown Studios, and they would write and put a song together every day pretty much to put this album together.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's fun. Here comes the cheer.
I dressed up as Santa Claus and and I had a Discman, and I stood on the corner of Bedford and North 7th trying to like get people to listen to it and buy it.
That's
In a Santa Claus outfit.
Wow.
Because I was jobless at the time. And they were like, well, looks like you got to do this shit.
Yeah, he was on a different set of drugs at the time.
Bro.
Where did we get a Santa suit from?
I think you got it. I thought
I don't
somebody.
know. I
one of
don't
you
remember.
guys
You
bought it.
had
I
it.
didn't buy it.
You had
I
it,
got
Derek.
it. I had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had it.
I don't know. Oh right.
So we've hit the point of the interview. I'm not sure how much you know about the show, but we've asked every single guest this question. Feel free to answer or not. It's up to you. But the show is called the Hook and Bridge Podcast for a reason. I consider myself to be more of the hook of the show, the kind of entertainer, funny guy. Taylor, obviously, the bridge comes in with a hype of a question at the end. My lovely wife is the and symbol in between, holds us all together. So we've asked every guest this question. What is more important to you when composing and writing music or just listening to music? The hook versus the bridge, the age-old question. Which is more important to you guys?
I love that question. I've never heard that question, and I love
I've
it.
never heard that question either.
No, I absolutely
Let
love
me. So I'm gonna. Here's something that's interesting. So right, if you ever been asked the question, Stones or Beatles, the answer is Kinks. Right, you jump in as a friend of mine would do. So I'm gonna take that and take a little left turn. Josh mentioned something to me years ago that I loved, which is the most important part of the song is the first change, the first real change. Because you're rocking and you're moving or you're rolling or whatever you're doing. But what's that first change? How smart? Where does that go? So I really listened to that in songs. Go back to the other ones, but I had to kind of throw that in for a second.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I'm gonna say, just to make it simple, hook.
I'm a
Yes.
hook guy.
Sounds about right.
Say hook
Mark?
because
Hook.
some of my favorite songs don't have bridges, so
Yeah.
Fair.
it's
Exactly.
like that.
I've been listening to a lot of Kinks lately, and they really force some of their bridges.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Especially for that time period too. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Kinks are just an interesting band overall. I could talk another hour about the Kinks.
I'm in a full rabbit hole right now. I mean, I'm just deep on a full playlist over and over,
Awesome.
thinking about it, knowing how I
The
want
Kinks
to.
have riffs. I like riffs.
Oh, there we go.
The Kinks
Riffs.
do have
There you go.
riffs. Yeah.
All right.
Palmer, where do you stand in this?
He likes riffs.
I like I like verses.
Versus. Come on.
I like verses too. I think I like verses
Yeah.
better than choruses.
What's the difference
I like
between
when
a
the
hook
song
and a
ends.
chorus?
What was that, Derek?
What's the difference between a hook and a chorus?
I mean, well, you can have many hooks in a song. The drum part could be a hook.
Oh yeah.
I was listening to John Mayer talk,
I guess a hook can be
yesterday.
a riff. A hook could be a riff.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
catchiest
the
part
hook
of
could
the
be a
song.
riff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hook is the catchiest part of the song, the part that makes you want to listen to it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Chad, what about John Mayer?
Well, I was listening to him talk about, being in the dead, and he was talking about the hooks, so like, and he was like humming each one. It was really cool. Because as a deadhead, it was cool. But like, so the hook could be dun, 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 no, 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 so it's a riff, but it's a hook that keeps coming around that kind of hooks you into that song.
Interesting theory.
The Dead have a ton of them.
Sweet Caroline, if you think about it, the hook of that song is the part of the song that's not even in there. The bump, it's not in there.
Yeah, that or whatever that key is.
Yeah,
That's funny. It's what we've done with it. We put the hook in there.
that's right. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So it is officially time for this game. Are you guys fans of memes by chance?
Yeah.
All right.
We're
Good
doing
one.
the meme game?
We are doing the meme game.
I'm so excited.
Here we go. Yeah.
All right.
Now
So
you're gonna have to picture camera part.
Yes. We want that. And then we want to.
I just want to let everyone know I am undefeated.
Oh, are we playing against you?
Well,
Probably,
so
I don't know.
with this many people,
There are no
this is a
teams,
first.
Chazzy.
There are no teams, Jazzy.
So I'm going to be hands off on this one. I'm just going to explain the memes this time around. This is a try not to laugh challenge. So the idea behind that is for every time you laugh, you lose a point, and we'll see who has the least amount of points at the end, and that person is the winner. And Lindsay here, she's going to be looking at this screen and keeping track of all of you guys. All right.
What's the rule?
Oh,
So
all right.
this is the My Music Montage Don't Giggle Giggle. This is a game that we made up that nobody else in the world has ever done.
That's BS. Well,
The first one coming up here. When you've said excuse me nicely twice already and they're still standing there.
and it's the old stock photo guy. And
Yes.
eventually he turns into who's that rapper?
That's a great question.
Oh my
Should Can I give an answer?
Oh, it is so you know who this is?
Yes.
Who is it?
That's ludicrous.
That's ludicrous.
And what song did he create?
Move Bitch Get Out the Way, I believe is the song.
Now I get it.
That's making me like Bridges better, that title.
That's one for Derek.
All right. Next up, we've got sorry. We have
I don't understand this game.
That's 2 points for Derek.
I don't know.
No, that's
what's
not Derek,
happening.
that's Chad.
It's Chad. I'm giving you wrong points.
man.
Wrong points. 2 Chad.
Yeah, what are you doing?
All right, so this is a picture of what would be Richard Simmons.
Yes.
But it's Richard Lemons?
Slimmons?
Slimmons. I'm not great at reading. We established that at the beginning of the show. I couldn't read to save my life.
that
and I
Pauly
listened to the
Shore?
song. I listened to the song 5 times today. I knew the title and still can't fucking read.
You like Eminem?
No,
I know that face. Who's that face?
Slim
That's Eminem. You know, you guys are Detroit guys, so.
Oh, I didn't realize that's Eminem. That makes me uncomfy. I don't
What's
think
that,
that's
Em?
funny. That makes me uncomfortable.
That one's
like
yeah,
that.
it fits too well. It fits.
Yeah. I don't like that.
All
That's
right.
a really good photo, though.
Yeah, right. That's a really great
Very good
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got these are great. Chattahoochee boards.
Yep.
A lot about living and a little about lunch. This is a picture of Alan Jackson. And he
Is he
has-
from Chattahoochee? Is he from Chattahoochee?
is he from? I don't know if he's from Chattahoochee, but he knows about the Chattahoochee.
Clearly.
And he is sitting here in a chair with a board of meats and cheeses.
Yep.
Which of course is a Chattahoochee board.
See, but because you're not a great reader, I don't know
Yeah, right.
pronouncing it correctly.
Listen, he's super white trash. He knows that like the best of his hand. So,
I like his boots a lot.
Yeah, those are some good boots. Those are some.
I'm drawn to the lower corner more than to the food, which is unusual for me.
He looks a little like Kid Rock.
He does look a little like Kid Rock.
Like Kid Rock.
Yeah.
All right. This one says, "I ain't the sharpest," and oh wow. I would assume you guys must be fans of this band. This is.
I have their albums.
Yeah.
They're
Who is
super
that?
dramatic. It's hard to. Yes, a fan, but it's more like just like a point of interest or something. They're very like weird and interesting.
Who is
Who
that?
is it?
This
Tool.
is Tool, and
Yeah.
it says, "I ain't the
Tool's
sharpest,"
cool.
and Tool is in the
In
shed.
the shed.
It's a
Oh, right. The
classic
sharpest
pun.
tool in the shed, right?
Yeah,
Incredible
you,
winemaker, funny enough.
You gentlemen with kids, this is right up your alley.
all these
This
dad
is
jokes.
this is a dad joke to the extreme right here.
It's pretty
That
dad
one's not
jokey.
funny to me.
All right. So this next one, I turned Hulk into Glenn Danzig.
You know what Glenn Danzig is great at is getting kitty litter.
Oh, is that who that was? I couldn't figure out who that was. It looked a little bit like Jack Black.
He
little bit
does
too
look like
buff.
Jack Black.
Oh man. Oh, that's a good one.
They do a whole thing of him like going to there's a like doing a grocery list, Glenn Danzig, and it's real funny if you're familiar with how he sings.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna do it for you right now.
So another little fact about Glenn Danzig, he is performing his original Danzig album in its entirety here in
that I would see.
Virginia
Yeah.
for the Blue Ridge Festival. So
Hell yeah.
Oh.
That I would go to see.
yes,
in a
yeah.
heartbeat.
It is worth it if you can get out there. The next one here. Oh wow. So we've got This Is How You Recline Me. This is Chad Kroger from Kruger.
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yep, from Nickelback, and he is photoshopped as a chair reclining.
Love the color commentary.
I don't
It's
get
just
it.
freaky.
It is.
So here's a hard hitting question. How do we all feel about Nickelback?
Oh,
I think
They're the best.
that should be the new. Oh yes, they are the best. Okay.
I don't want to start a war with Nickelback.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you really like them?
I couldn't.
Nobody likes that band.
I don't
Nobody
know
likes
anything
them.
about them.
Taylor loves them. You can't do that to her.
They both.
I love Nickelback.
yeah,
a
I'm a big
lot.
Nickelback fan.
Taylor, what album should I? I've never listened to them. Like, what
You've
album
never
should I-
listened to Nickelback?
No, I don't think
Me
so.
neither.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, I've never really gravitated.
All right.
I couldn't.
to that
Hang
this
on.
time. Yeah, tell me what. I'll listen. I swear.
The Dark
I'm gonna-
Horse album. I would
That- yep,
start
that's
with the
what I was
Dark
gonna
Horse
say.
album.
Yeah. All the right reasons.
Yep, that's another great one.
That's another great one.
No, I'm just one. I think.
Yep. So the Dark Horse album is a
No, really. Just one's great. Just pick the
Just,
one.
just pick one. Definitely Dark Horse album.
Okay, I'm on it. Thank you.
Listening party.
so that
so
album in
good.
particular is a turning point, at least in my opinion, for the 2000s like metal era.
Really bad.
New metal,
Yes, it's a very
New.
underrated metal album.
the 7-string shit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, like 7-string guitars. I feel like 6 is plenty.
Yeah, funny.
How do you feel about 6 bass strings, Chad?
Oh, that's too much.
That's too many.
Yeah.
What do some
Nickelback is the
people do?
last- Nickelback is the last of the like grunge pop.
Yes.
The Creed, like Eddie, save me from your followers,
Yes.
right? Like Nickelback is the last of that.
Exactly.
Good riddance, right, guys?
So good.
It's not good.
All right. So here's the next one. Tattoo artist says, "What do you want?"
No, that's not what it says.
Oh, sorry. Tattoo artist. What you want? Him. I don't know. I'm just having one of those days where I don't want to wake up and everything's fucked and everybody sucks. Tattoo artist, say less. Oh wow, this is
that real?
so funny. It looks pretty real.
Like, is that really on somebody's back?
It probably is.
I thought it was
That is-
Lars
Sounds
Ulrich
about right.
at first.
Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
So we got a
Which would be
tattoo
pretty
of
badass.
Fred Durst on somebody's back. That's
That's hilarious.
so funny.
That's just tragic.
That is tragic.
Very sad.
But that face could like go different ways if you wanted to change it. You know what I mean?
That
It
is
just
true.
could become many other faces if you were like, if you just got to convince yourself that you're enamored with someone that looks similar to Fred Durst, and
Tilt your eyes, tilt your
Right.
head.
oh,
Yeah.
And you can change the letters a little bit. Like you change the F into an E,
like this
and
could
like
be
the
Russell
U into
Crowe.
an O.
This could be Russell Crowe. This could be Master Commander. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this. This could
Lars
be
Ulrich.
many different wrestlers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I like the positive spin on
Because
it,
having
Josh.
a tattoo of a wrestler on your back is
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Big up a guy named Winifred Durst.
All
Yeah.
right. Country Toads Take Me Home. That's
Wow.
a classic one.
That just looks
Um,
like it should be crocheted on a pillow.
It
Yes.
really does,
I
right?
agree.
This is giving pioneer
Country
woman
Toads
vibes.
For
Take
your
Me
mom.
Home. That's one of my that's one of my favorite songs, by the way. Country, not
Really?
Toads, Roads. It's so good. Oh, if you want to talk about bridges, the bridge of that song is amazing.
How's it go?
How's it go?
Right, what is it? I don't know. I can't. John Denver, you know.
John Denver, man.
Yeah, but I can't think of the bridge right now.
Alexa,
In the
play
morning hour.
Country
in the morning
Road.
hour. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Riding down the road, I get the feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday.
Oh, that's a
That's a
good
good song.
That's a
That's a
great
good
bridge.
song.
It's an
That is a good
unbelievable
bridge.
And great,
And it's
and
got
great
like this,
bridges.
it's like it's got insane, like the vocal has like insane like AM radio slapback, like DJ slapback. It's so
Right.
good.
Is that Sonnet singing it in the background with you?
It is Sonnet.
That was Naya.
All right. Next
over there.
one. I miss Kurt
Oh.
Cobain so much.
Oh, geez.
This is a picture of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Achy breaky.
Achy breaky, man. Achy breaky.
Super funny.
That's a pretty standard. Yeah, it's
I
good.
loved it.
That one's good. It makes me want to chuckle, but I'm not.
That one made me chuckle.
Oh, so this says Caulk This Way, or
Why does
Cock
he look
This
like
Way,
that?
as I pronounce it. And this is is that a John Denver album?
That's cool.
No, it's trying to be Steven Tyler, right?
I like
Like
Cock
Walk
This,
This
way.
Way.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cock This
Yeah,
Way
yeah,
is
Cock
funny.
This Way, and that's Steven
Right.
Tyler.
Cock
Yeah.
This Way.
Yeah. You put Macaulay Culkin in there.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
That would be fun.
Do
Look
not
at
do
that.
that.
That's too many levels, Berko. That's too many levels.
There's a new actor that he kind of looks like that. He works in like a bowling alley in a show or something like that.
Oh yeah, that guy. But
That
kind of
dude.
like the guy, kind of like one of the like the nerdy guy from Dazed and Confused that gets in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He also looks like a cousin.
Tim Goldberg.
Yeah. Sweet. Wow.
Alright.
This game is really wild.
Life is better with a horse.
So this is a classic scene from the movie Ace Ventura. It is the rhino scene where he's coming out of the rhino's ass. And instead of him coming out of it, it is Lionel Richie.
Yep.
And the phrase says hello, like the famous Lionel Richie song, hello.
Oh yeah.
That one's
That
it's not
Is
as
it,
good.
I don't
is
love
it
this
poo?
one.
Is it poo you're looking for?
Ah,
Gross.
Nice one, Derek. That's
all
good.
right.
Yeah, Derek made it funny.
Thank you.
Don't Stop Me Now. That's great. I don't know if you guys are Muppet fans, but that's classic. It is photoshopped Freddie Mercury. I forget the Muppet's name. I'm just gonna say
Beaker.
the meat guy.
Beaker.
Yeah.
Meet.
Meep. Yep.
Oh,
Don't Stop Meep Now. That's classic.
I'm only gonna sing it that way now.
Feeling like a freak on a quiche. That is great. So this
Corn.
one, yeah, corn. It's got the juice, man.
That's so good.
I don't
this
know. I've
one-
never listened to Corn either.
I haven't
You never
either.
listened to corn
It's
either.
all that
Oh.
new metal. I just, I don't want to hear that 7 string.
I'm not as passionate about Corn as I am about Nickelback, so
But is
you're
there
good on
like
that one.
is there like the album to listen to if you're going to though?
For corn, I would
One
say
album.
the Freak on a Leash album. That's follow. I think it's Follow the Leader is the name of the album. But Follow the Leader. I mean, Korn is a quintessential band too from that era. But Yeah, they're just I love music, man. I could I mean, Josh,
yeah.
if you want music recommendations, man, I'll sit and email you every day 50 bands. All right.
One.
So
Just one.
Just one.
Costanza close to me. So this is good. This is good. This is a classic Seinfeld meme. This has the police. And it is the "Don't Stand So Close to Me" song, but instead
That's funny.
it is Costanza.
George.
Yeah,
George
I like it.
Costanza.
I like it.
Right.
It's also good.
So okay. All right.
Too soon.
So we've got Jiggy Pop. This is Will Smith's face photoshopped on Iggy Pop's body.
It looks like a hairless, like chihuahua, kind of.
It really does, man. It looks like a mole rat, like a naked mole rat.
Yeah, it does look like a naked mole rat.
Yeah.
This is another one that makes me uncomfy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Why does his face look like that?
Would.
All right. Next up. But it wasn't a flop. It was a flop lobster. Oh, that's classy. Obviously Rock Lobster.
Our favorite song.
Was that the B-52s? Is that who sang that?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one.
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst, exactly. Yeah. All right. Insane Clown Patsy.
Klein
Oh man.
Insane Clown Patsy Cline.
That's my favorite one so far.
That's really funny.
I don't even know if it's funny, but it's I like to think of her like having gone this direction.
Yeah, right.
Mine's Costanza close to me.
That one's really funny.
That's my favorite so far.
I love the Juggalo makeup. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
she wears it well.
Yeah, right.
We had a party recently, and all of a sudden there were juggalos there. And I don't even know how that happened.
That's
Like a friend of a friend invited them, and they all came like painted, and they're sort of, what do you call it? Whatever. You could tell that they were expecting us to kind of like be not happy they were here or something. You know what I mean? Like there was something standoffish from the word go about them, you know?
Of course.
And then I just sat down with them and was like talking the whole time, and they're like, "You guys are a lot cooler than we thought you'd be," you know? I'm like,
How do you know it was them and it wasn't impersonators in costume?
They brought their own Fago.
Well, meaning not the singers.
The posses?
Yeah.
They didn't have
It's the Juggalo.
The Juggalos.
Came over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard. Right, you told me that. I know
The
that.
fan.
Right. Right. They're like, "Fuck, we're not like
Right.
freaking you out. This is
we're being accepted.
we're being accepted.
What do we
This
do?
isn't. No, we push you away before you can push us away. Wait, you're accepting us? What's with this therapy session?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
This might be my favorite episode ever, guys. Just so
This
you
is
know.
my
This is
favorite episode.
This has been
Very
incredible. Don't let the days go by.
Sizzling.
So obviously this is the
Bush.
fantastic
Bush.
band Bush. I mean,
Yeah. The days go by sizzling.
look at that hair, man. The 90s were a time, huh?
Yeah. It's funny. You have two, like you had Korn, and then you had this dude who were they played like right after each other, right at that. I just saw that documentary about the Woodstock where everything went horribly wrong.
Yeah, what was that? 99, Woodstock
Watch
99.
that.
99. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch that, dude.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It was a real SHIT show.
Yes, it was. All right. Post Mona Lisa.
No.
That's Post Malona Lisa.
I don't know that one.
Post
You don't-
Malone. You don't know him?
No.
He's a rapper.
You don't know Post
He's
Malone?
got tattoos on his face.
I don't know.
He got a
When
good
I was a
voice and
kid,
stuff.
only people that are in jail had tattoos on their face.
Not
Now-
anymore.
Not
Times have
anymore.
changed, Derek.
He's got a good voice and stuff. Berko, you probably know his songs.
Yeah, and if you've heard him, like even in before he broke out, him with an acoustic guitar, he's solid. Just a
Yeah,
just
I
a-
heard him playing with acoustic guitar. It was good. I mean, whatever. It was, yeah.
It was great with a great singer.
He
All right.
originally started in what, like a
metal band.
Like a
Yeah,
metal
he
band.
was in a metal band.
yeah.
You
Oh,
don't
I don't
say.
believe, I don't believe it.
There's
Yeah.
something floating around of him.
Wow.
There's something floating around of him in like John Denver-esque style shit out there or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. He has completely like, not to say sold out, but I don't know a better term. Like he went and said, "What does the industry run? Okay, that's what I'll be."
Yeah.
I'll have
Worked.
to listen.
Making the slaw.
Making the slaw. Making the
Making the
slaw.
slaw.
man.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. Oh,
That's
Chad.
good.
That is an odd photo. Is that Rob helping? That's an odd photo, right?
It
Yeah.
really
Old
is,
one,
right?
yeah, hair.
That is a young photo.
Mhm.
No, but it's
Wow.
like a young. It's like a young man that looks older photo.
Yeah,
That's like not his real, obviously not his real
Baby
body.
picture.
yeah.
Do they
Why does
not
it-
have a real photo of him with a bowl of coleslaw? I found that.
Why does he look like a toddler? It looks like somebody like took a. He looks like a toddler for some
Yeah, it's
reason.
like a caricature.
Yeah.
Baby bottle pop commercial.
The baby bottle
From the
pop
90s.
commercials. Yes, I knew it looked like something.
It's got
Yeah.
a South Park feel to it also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Sponsored by Nike.
Eh.
The Hobbitals.
Nah.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Palmer get his vote on this one.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
This one I can't. Make it short. I
It's not
can't make it
funny.
longer.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
It's not hitting me. Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down.
That's
This
all.
is the classic Creed song, but it has a
no.
bunch of Pete Davidsons at the bottom.
Mhm.
It's all right. I mean, this one's not over the top funny. Little topical. Yeah. Oh, that's the last one, guys.
Who was it because it
Aw.
was Pete? It was topical.
Yeah, Pete Davidson.
He's
He's
kinda out of it now.
He plays a good Pete Davidson.
he does.
Yes.
All right, so we've got the score tallied here. But I think there's no
you kept track of
surprise.
that?
Wait, how do you keep score? How can you possibly keep score?
How about mushrooms? I'm gonna
What do you
lose.
think? I don't even understand. I don't
Sorry,
even
I
know where
lost
winner
before it
is.
even started.
All right. So we have, sadly, but we could all figure it out. And last place is Chad with 6 points.
Yeah.
And
You
then
know.
Jason with 3 points. And then we have Derek with 2 points. Josh with 1, and Mark, Steven, and Taylor are our winners with 0 points.
Oh, so it's like golf. The
Yeah.
lower the score, the better.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Now
thought I
we-
was. I thought
I
I
don't
was
like
winning
golfing
early
either.
on.
Don't worry.
I mean, look at Mark right now. It was hard for him to not lose.
Yeah. And upset baby.
How many points did I get?
0.
You won.
You won,
you
man.
won.
One,
It's like golf,
congratulations.
you know. Yeah.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on
Yes.
the show today. Literally, this has been incredible.
So much fun.
So much fun. Like we've said before, the new album is out right now. It is Address Unknown. If you can, please go check it out. It really is incredible. What do you guys want to say, man? Anything that you guys have coming up or anything you guys want to promote besides that?
Listen to that album. I love that album. Congrats to Josh. Paperback of Daphne coming out.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh
Check
my
out
God.
Josh's books. He's got 1 million books. He's written 1 million books.
When we finish our next album, we would love to come back on.
I would love to have
Yes.
you guys back
Oh,
on.
please.
You are welcome.
Like we'd love to become
anytime.
regular. We would love to become regular.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, we're playing in Athens, Ohio on the 12th. If you
Oh,
guys
on the
around.
12th of July?
12th of August.
12th of August.
Birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So come there.
Coming to
Yeah.
Athens, Ohio.
That's your birthday
Yeah.
celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
That sounds amazing.
We don't get out of town much, so it's a rare
It's
one.
gonna be exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we'll for sure go. I mean, that's
You
awesome.
should come. Let
Wait,
us know.
Are
though.
you by? Are you by? Are you in Ohio?
So I mean, we travel up there all the time because that's where we're from.
Oh,
But Athens is right outside of Akron, right? I'm pretty sure it's up
yeah.
in
It's just
that
like
area.
a little bit further south. It's like
Yeah.
About 3 hours.
Yeah.
Southeast Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be there, man. For sure, we'll be there. That's awesome.
The street fair.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And Harley, I assume, will pick me up on the way.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Os Mutantes plays after us.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so
Yes,
much for
thank
coming on
you.
the show. You are always welcome on the show. It has been an absolute pleasure, and you guys have a wonderful weekend this weekend.
You
You
Talk
too.
to you
too,
later.
man. You too.
Great meeting
Thanks,
you guys.
Taylor.
That was
Thanks, Harley.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank
You guys are
Bye.
so welcome. Thank you guys.
Hi, Sonnet.
Hi.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Woo. All
That
right.
was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
You're gonna do your promo stuff.
Yeah, we got to do the promo
I
stuff.
keep forgetting that it doesn't end after the interview, though. Sorry. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we post a new video.
And scene.
Excuse me. So Instagram, follow it, show, rate and review it. Website. I do blogs now. They're there. Shut up.
I don't know him. We're not married.
What else? Am I forgetting anything?
Website.
Yeah. Website.
We do blogs now.
We do blogs now. They're there.
Rate you on everything.
Rate, review on all platforms. You're listening. Oh, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Pay
Pay us. If
Become
you
a
become
subscriber.
a paying subscriber, you're gonna get 25% off of merch.
Yeah, 25% off.
25%
That's unheard
off.
of. What a deal.
And you'll get to have some behind the scenes stuff
What?
when we post.
Where we
Isn't
bullshit
that
about
crazy?
nothing.
About
You could
nothing.
listen to Chad from High Strung talk for an extra 5 minutes about being on mushrooms if
That's
you
great.
subscribe.
Subscribe and pay to subscribe.
Yeah, you got to pay.
Yeah,
us.
yeah. If you're just listening for
You
free,
can't
you don't
listen
get that.
to Chad talk about being on
No.
mushrooms for free.
No. So 25% off or full price. That's up to you. 25% is a good deal.
Unheard of in most
Unheard of.
industries. We're in the world of price increases. Can't
Yeah,
afford to give
we'll give
everybody
you a shout out.
25% off.
You want to come on the show?
This is a recession.
Come on the show if you want to come on the show. If you're a paying subscriber, pay
You
that
want our
$3 a
bank
month.
information?
I'll give it to
Shut
you.
up.
You want a guest? You want a guest room on the beach? What else can we
We're
offer?
not on the beach.
Close
Close
enough. They don't need to know that.
You want a kidney?
Pay and find out.
Do you want a husband? You about to get one.
Yo, I'm about to be a subscriber if we can get a husband up in this bitch.
You sounded
All
like
right.
Matt Rife. Sorry. Anyways, go
All
on.
right. Anyways.
I wish you looked like Matt Rife. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. I'm just kidding.
All right, everybody. It's been realest of real today. And peace.